I was noticing your work. I'm really interested in PMU in general. I'm really interested in, artists, PMU artists, and especially if they're like in Vegas. I really like. I'm actually I'm proud like to be in Vegas. I've been in Vegas like 27 years. I love this town. I still call it a town. It was a town when I moved here, but it's kind of like a city now.
Where did you move from? Where are you
Maine.
from? Oh, okay.
All the way from Maine,
Wow.
right? So even back then, Vegas was like big city for me. But when I started doing PMU in Vegas like 21 years ago, there just wasn't. I was like the youngest one. It was just more older women doing it, doing one style. There just wasn't a lot of artists doing it. There wasn't a lot of diversity or anything like that. So, fast forward 21 years and look at the level of talent and skill we have just in Vegas alone, So I love that. And I wanted to start having more local artists come down on the podcast, hang out, and talk in PMU and, interesting topics and whatnot. So kind of was following you online, and you look bubbly and cute in your pictures.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I liked your work. And I thought you'd be fun to come down. And I was right, because we sat out there for like an hour chit-chatting, and you're super bubbly, and you're cute, and you're funny.
Oh, thank you.
So, I'm like, okay, I picked a good one.
Yeah.
Right? So how long have you been in Vegas?
Too long.
Too long?
Joking. I'm born and raised in the island of Guam. I moved out here when I was 17.
Okay.
I really didn't think I would come out here because the island was all I knew. I grew up there, and one day my mom was like, pack your bags, we're going to Vegas.
Right.
So I'm like...
And you're in Vegas, but you taught me something out there. Like, you're not called a Guamanian.
Yeah.
And that's probably what I would have thought, a Guamanian or a Guamster.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, that's so funny.
I know. But so what do, people from Guam, how do they refer to themselves as?
So like the main locals, it's called Chamorro.
Chamorro.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting. Yeah. So you taught me something new.
Yeah, so like it's kind of like the culture of like Hawaii and Samoa brought together. It's very... islandy.
Very islandy.
Yeah.
So when I was a kid growing up in Maine, my aunt married a Coast Guard guy, and they were stationed in Guam.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
And so my 3 cousins and my aunt and uncle were over in Guam, I want to say like 6-7 years.
Cool.
Yeah. I never got to go over and visit. I mean, we couldn't afford to do anything like that back then, get on a plane or travel or whatnot. But that's how I first became familiar with Guam. My cousins lived there for like 6-7 years.
Yeah.
And they loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Like when I grew up there, my friends would be like, what do you want to do today? I'm like, I don't know. Let's drive around the island. Because 2 hours you drive around the island and you're done.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and that, I think that would get to me after a while. Did it get to you after a while? Like, what do they call it? Island fever?
Fever.
Yeah. And that's a real thing?
It's a real thing, but honestly, I guess when I grew up there, like that's all I knew.
Right.
So I didn't really get the taste of
nothing to compare it to.
America when I came here.
Did you like America in Vegas? So did you go right from Guam to Vegas?
I did.
Did you like it right away, or did it take you a minute?
You know what? When I grew up in Guam, like I literally lived like 5 minutes away from the beach. I never went because it's right there, right?
Right.
So when I got here, where's the fucking beach? I have to drive to California.
Yeah, but it's only 4 hours. Yeah, right? It's not like that bad, but it's cold. I thought, like, look, I grew up in the coast of Maine. Okay. Right, and that beach water, right? Okay. Right on the coast, lots of beaches.
Yeah.
And you think like San Diego water, or it's going to be like a whole lot warmer. And I was like so surprised that even California beaches, like the water's like kind of cold, not as cold as Maine.
Yeah,
I will give them that. Yeah. But
I like how you say water.
Water.
Can you teach me?
Yeah.
Water. Oh, cool.
All right. So you're in Vegas. So how long you been doing permanent makeup?
So I started doing PMU 2017.
2017. So my math is correct. Was that 4 years?
Yes.
Almost 5?
Yes.
17, 18, 19. Yeah, about 4 years, right? Maybe pushing 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What were you doing before PMU?
So I was a cocktail server at Caesar's Palace.
Yeah. Well, I was a cocktail waitress.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, for like 10, 11 years.
How long?
Like 10 or 11 years.
Okay. Yeah.
So I ended my cocktail waitress career at TI, Treasure Island. I opened it.
Very cool.
And I was there for 6 years. And then that 6 years at Treasure Island, that was my final 6 years cocktailing. But I cocktailed like a lot of different places, you know, in that 10, 11 year period. Yeah. And a lot of people don't know that about me, that I was a cocktail waitress.
I'm so amazed. That's an amazing story.
Well, can you picture me in heels and a little dress and pantyhose and all that stuff?
Yeah. No, but yeah.
I hated it.
I haven't imagined it like mine, so yeah, but no.
Yeah, I did it. I did it, but but I had to learn to walk on heels because I've been a tomboy my whole life. So when I first put the heels on, my ankles were wobbly. I wasn't that good. But I got the hang of it, and for the most part, I thought it was pretty fun because I like people. I worked swing. You bring in drinks, you get tips. It's pretty good money, and you meet people from all over the world. The only time it wasn't fun for me, of course, when you get stiffed, right? That's never fun.
Dude,
when people
they're
don't
gonna
tip
be
you.
sober for like the whole night.
Yeah. Or really super drunk people.
Yeah.
Right. That could be like annoying. But did you find for the most part, like it was fun? Like you had a pretty good time doing it?
I did. I kind of like, now that I think about it, I cocktailed till my early 30s. So I started my early 20s to early mid 30s.
Okay.
So almost 10 years too, like you.
Yeah.
It was enjoyable. It was great. I got to travel a little bit. I got to meet people with different personalities. And also this one time it kind of hit me where I said, I turned into my 30s and these younger hot 21-year-olds are coming in.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I gotta go.
Right.
So that's where it kind of hit me. Like I need a career breaker,
That's kind of what happened to me. I worked with this cocktail waitress and her name was Charlie.
Okay.
And I'll never forget her. Are you familiar with the old series from back in the day, Gunsmoke? No? There was a character on there called Miss Kitty.
Okay.
And Charlie reminded me of Miss Kitty, very saloon type looking with red hair.
I love that.
She was so pretty, and her name was Miss Kitty. And Charlie reminded me of her. And Charlie was probably well into her 50s. And cocktailing, and had been cocktailing her whole adult life, I think, since her 20s. And she would have really serious conversations with me about cocktailing's great, Teryn, it's a lot of fun, but honey, my hips this, my arm that, my feet this, find, maybe you should, find something, find a career, she would really talk to me about that. And it started sticking with me. And so that's how I got into PMU. I just kind of wanted to find something creative and something that, could kind of be my own, and I could like do the rest of my life.
Yeah.
So that was kind of you.
That's amazing. I'm so proud of you because, when you're at that age, right, your mentality, you hear people talking about, oh, their hips, their back, my knees. You're like, whatever. When you're in your 20s, it doesn't faze you.
Yeah.
And it finally hits you. But I'm glad she had that talk with you because while you were still young, and you're still young, but at the same time, you have to think about what people want to do for a living. While you're still young, you're very trainable because you're so vulnerable to all these things. And look where you're at now.
Yeah. I know. It ended up being the best thing. I did miss it at first, I have to say, because there's some excitement. There's something, for me, coming from Maine, small town in Maine, there was something very exciting about being on the Strip, swing shift at night, serving cocktails and, these glamorous hotels. It was exciting. And then your first couple of years doing PMU, it's a struggle and you're broke and, so there was a transition for me, but right away I knew PMU was for me. I just knew. I knew I had a good shot at being good at it. if I really applied myself, and I was pretty darn sure that I was going to love it. Was that you? Did you take to PMU like immediately?
I did. Growing up, my mom, she would always okay, so this was like the early 90s, okay? So I'm kind of giving away my age here. She was early 90s. I'm watching her. She's doing her makeup. She used to be a singer back in Guam. So,
what kind of singer?
So she was a lounge singer, and I'm very proud because my mom can sing anything, and every time till this day she'll strum a guitar and she'll sing. And
can you sing?
Yeah.
You can?
Yeah.
I won't make you sing.
Maybe later.
I won't make you sing. Next time you come on.
Okay.
I'll make you sing.
Okay, I'll practice my actions.
Okay. So your mom was a lounge singer?
Yeah, she was a lounge singer. And every night, so she would always get ready at 6 p.m.
Okay.
She had to be at work at 9. So she took a while to get ready. It's just like a transition phase. And I would watch her do her makeup. And for some reason, it struck in my head, like, what if I did that, but like, not that.
Yeah.
And I think it started there at a young age. And when I cocktailed, I work at the pool. So I'm like, oh my God, my brows are melting.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to make an impact on something.
Yeah.
I knew I was in love with the beauty industry. I didn't know what, but I kind of figured it out from there.
I didn't like, I got a few shifts working at the pool and I didn't like it. Because it's all foo-foo drinks.
Yeah.
Like big trays of daiquiris and margaritas and all that stuff. And it was so hot. Right?
Yeah.
It was so hot. Yeah, I didn't really dig the pool.
It's hot. The heat brings out the worst in you. It really does.
Yeah.
Not the heat, but Vegas dry, 117 degrees at the highest. This one time I was standing out there with my wedges. I had my bucket on my shoulder. I had about 18 drinks on my tray. And it's so hard because when you portray this image of you being a Vegas cocktail waitress, right? And this guy said to me, this really pissed me off. He said, "You need a smile." And I said, "It hurts."
It hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It does. My wife, Kat, was a cocktail waitress for 16 years or so until she started, working here at Girls Inc. And she was at the Venetian. She went from opened the Bellagio, was at the Bellagio.
That's awesome.
Quite a few years,
Yeah.
and then went over and opened up the Venetian, and she ended her career at the Venetian. But I was already, well into Girls Inc. and doing my thing, but she would come home from work and her hands would just kill her. She was my inspiration for actually opening up my own studio. I was in a salon, renting a little 100 square foot room in a salon for almost 13 years. I loved it. Yeah. And I loved it. And I was perfectly content.
Yeah.
But I wanted to get my wife, out of that situation because I know her feet was hurting, her hands. She had started to develop a little bit of arthritis.
Oh.
And it, just broke my heart. And, you start thinking, and I'm like, open up a studio. She can run the studio. You just start thinking all these things, where I could incorporate her into the business. And it ended up working out, fantastic. So,
That's
here
amazing.
we are, like all these years later.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're still in love.
That's
Even
how
after
long,
working
how
together.
long have you been together?
Like almost 17 years.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, she wants to kill me sometimes.
Oh,
but
no. That's amazing. 17 years?
Yeah, 17 years.
How did you meet?
We met, she had a circle of friends, I had a circle of friends, and we just kept crossing each other's paths a little bit. And I think one day she flirted with me. Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. And that's probably the beginning of our story. So it just happened and it was right.
Yeah.
So, all right. So are you into you have your own studio here in Vegas? You do?
I do. I just recently went solo.
Solo.
Solo,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you were with, so what kind of situation were you in for the last 3 years?
So I actually was with my mentor.
Oh, okay.
I did go to NEMA. I took this, I think it was a 3-4 day course. This was back in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know at the time that you had to apprentice under someone, right? Like,
oh, gotcha.
I thought 3-4 days, you can make all this money, be a PMU
Well, that's how
artist.
it's marketed.
Yes.
Right? That's how
Yes.
it's marketed.
Yes.
Is a day, 3 days, make, all this money like it's so easy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I knew that it was a class-based setting, and you know, I knew that I wanted to do one-on-one with someone. So she's amazing. Like, I feel like for anyone who wants to become a PMU artist, you have to go with your instincts of who you want as a mentor. My mentor, she's a mom, a wife, and she owns her own business, microblading Las Vegas.
Yeah.
I trained with her, and everything she taught me, I kind of...
So you stayed right there with her.
So I was one of her... This is so funny because she looked at me one day because I kept procrastinating, because I'm the type of person where I've always had two jobs at the same time. I was a liquor rep, and I was also a bartender at the same time. I bartended for a little bit in between that. So she looked at me because she knew I picked up a bartender shift. So that's time away from my apprenticeship.
Right.
So she looked at me and she said, do you really want to do this?
Yeah.
So that woke me up, like, wow, like...
Yeah.
So I was one of her students that kind of transitioned a little slower, but I was one of her students that actually ended up renting her chair after my apprentice. I worked side by side with my mentor for a good 2.5 years. And one day I said, I can't hold her hand forever.
Yeah.
So I flew away.
It's probably good she asked you that, because I probably would have asked like the same thing, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had a lot of apprentices come and go, not stay longer than 2 or 3 months, because because my philosophy is, I'm trying to fill a studio with super talented artists. I think you got to be laser focused. You have to be obsessed. You have to, at least that's my philosophy. You know, not everybody might agree with me, but that's the way I grabbed, permanent makeup and learned and got to where I'm at. So I just kind of, so I probably would have asked you the same thing. That was probably the best question.
Yeah, it was
She could have asked you, right?
She didn't sugarcoat anything. It was tough love. And she's like, why are you giving me your money?
So you stayed on there like working commission?
No, actually, it was just a chair rental. And
so you rented.
So So this is how I started. Okay, you're gonna make fun of me.
I might.
Okay. So when I first started, she said, okay, you can rent my chair out. You know, you're done with your apprenticeship. I'm not gonna baby you anymore. You're renting my chair out. This is the price. And I was like, well, I know that there's a way to it where you start on working on people. I honestly didn't want to do my mom wanted her brows done right away. And then my sister, my cousins, and I knew I was a new artist coming in.
Right.
Like, I didn't want to like fuck up on their face the first time. So sorry, but so I didn't want to look at that. So this is how I advertised.
Well, some people do have, I saw this on Facebook maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. And it was like a newbie asking, should I book family and friends? Should I work on strangers? And there was a lot of different mixed opinions. Some people responded really super strong in their feeling that no, you should not work on family and friends because they make you nervous, or you have to see them in your daily, or blah, 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 blah. And then some people on the flip side had the exact opposite opinion. No, you should definitely work on family and friends first, because there's a comfort level there. So
there's a comfort level, but at the same time, I'm going to look at their face for a long time.
For the rest of your life.
So I knew, but the thing is, I'm a perfectionist. I wanted to give my all, and I knew I wanted to do them later down the road.
Right.
So I went on Craigslist.
Yeah.
I knew at the time I wasn't experienced, so all right, I went on, the free site on Craigslist for free couch, free TV, free toaster.
Yeah.
I put free eyebrows.
Yeah. Hey, but that's okay.
But it worked. I got people models that way. And from then I started raising up my prices till I got better. And the rest is now,
Yeah. No, I think whatever it takes to start, getting those models in. So if that worked, then good for you. I mean, I think that was smart, right? Because some way, somehow, newbies have to get models to come in.
Yeah, we all start
it's
from
hard.
somewhere. Yeah,
because you don't have a portfolio to show. Not really.
Right.
So I have an apprentice right now, Amy, and she just started charging, but like at a discount price.
Okay.
So she's done about 15, 20 brows, like free. And but now she's kind of in her zone. She's comfortable. Everything's healing good. So we launched her now as like a Girls Inc. artist, but she's starting out with like a discount price because her portfolio is not big and she's still fairly new. So I think that's totally fine. I think it's a great way to start out and to build.
Right. Right.
for sure.
Yeah.
Because you got to have models or you're not going to
Yeah.
get good. I think it's really detrimental to like do an eyebrow and then you go 2 or 3 weeks and you don't have another one.
It's
Right?
the most depressing phase
Yeah.
ever when you don't work on skin.
Yeah,
Like,
and
right.
you forget. I think you forget too
Yeah.
fast, or you lose your mojo if there's
Yeah.
too long of a wait.
Yeah.
So if it's free models you have to take, then it's free models you have to take
Yes.
for the moment.
Yes.
I just tell everybody, look, it's temporary.
Mm-hmm.
It's temporary. It's a temporary time in your early career that you're taking free models or discounting your price.
Yeah.
And the day will come where you will never ever have to discount or do a freebie again if
Right.
you don't want
Right.
to.